On this week's episode, Micah identifies as a superhero. Brent gets super competitive, and I have to do a shot of maybe the worst whiskey in the world. Welcome to the show! Welcome back to the program, nerds. I am Larry Brantley. That is Steve Rogers.
Avengers Assemble!
And that is Brent Williams.
Got nothing.
And behind the camera, I'm sorry, I just lost it. Behind the camera is Chris Hockenberry, our producer. We, four guys, are the Nerdherfers. Hey, before we get tonight, assemble. Before we get going tonight, you should have saved that for greatest joke in the world. You would have cracked my ass right up. Right. I'd have been doing so many shots of Rocktown. If you guys would be so kind as to go out to our YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/@Nerdherfers, and hit the subscribe button. If you're one of those people who likes to listen to us in your car, first of all, thank you. Just subscribe to our podcast. We would very much appreciate it. And we would love for all of you to be a part of Nerdherfer Nation. Now, if you've never seen the show before, here's how it works. Every single week, one of us brings a cigar, and it's a surprise to the other two, and three. We're going to try. And one of us brings a bottle of whiskey to sample. And then one of us brings the topic of conversation that we are going to nerd out about for the next hour. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, probably have no idea what it is we're going to be talking about on this episode. But that's okay because we like surprises. Anyway, before we get going.
Well, if they're not watching on YouTube, maybe we should describe what's going on.
Or if they didn't see the episode artwork.
Yeah.
True.
Okay, that's a really good idea. So for those,
well, I'm just saying.
For those of
Micah
you,
is quite the adornment today.
He had the adornment.
I'm not sure
I like
what you're
that.
talking about.
Micah has chosen to wear a hoodie that is. I do believe Cap is your favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, he's your absolute favorite superhero. So
Micah is my favorite superhero.
The hoodie doesn't just cover Micah's head; it covers his face, a la Captain America, replete with the tiny wings on the side and the A in the front, which accentuates the point in his head. So
it really does.
Yeah, it really does. If you think about it, Deadpool's got one in the back. You guys all remember Deadpool's little pointy point in the back. Right. So now he's getting a little more comfortable. He's got his. Yep. He's got his. Explain what your T-shirt is, Micah.
Oh, the SSR piece to accentuate my pectoral muscles.
I don't. Okay. Okay.
All right.
I don't know where to. I'm very uncomfortable right now. Hostile work environment. Anyway, hey, before this gets completely out of control, let's go to a segment of the show that we like to call Nerd News. It is last week's Nerd News today, and as always, we go to our anchor desk and our anchor person, Brent Williams. Brent, what nerd news do you have for us this week?
I wish I had a new nurse, but I don't.
I didn't say it this week.
I know.
Are you disappointed?
I'm a little disappointed.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to grow that viewership.
Nude nurse.
Okay, well, the first thing I have, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign has created this thing called craft sales. Now, this is very cool. So,
craft sales?
Craft cells, CELLS.
Oh, craft cells.
Cells, yeah. So,
okay.
I'll tell you why. So, anyway, they have these 3D models of like different types of cells that they study, like, a normal cell, a cancerous version of that cell, those types of things. Mm-hmm. And they want to be able to share these models with the world so they can kind of see what it looks like. However, the computing power needed to run the applications that do this 3D modeling, it's, most people don't have that in their home computer, right? Or on their laptop. So what they did was they took the models and converted them into models in Minecraft.
No.
Yeah. And they made this available to everyone. So you can go and you like get on this roller coaster and you like ride through the cells and you can, see the inside of the cell. I get excited. Inside of the cell. And then you see like a cancerous version of that. So you can kind of see the difference. Anyway, it's very cool. I mean,
so you can't have that at home, but you can go out to a place and go on a virtual roller coaster ride.
Unless you're like a real hardcore gamer, you probably don't have the hardware to run the 3D simulation software.
I am
that's
not
required. Yeah,
and never was.
So anyway, they just want to make it more available to people, so they convert it to a
pretty
Minecraft.
Cool. And they put it on a roller coaster.
Yeah, and you ride a roller coaster through it. It's kind of.
I mean, putting anything virtual on a roller coaster is kind of like wrapping it in bacon. It's just going to make it better.
That's right.
Am I right?
It's true.
So according to Variety, Goonies 2 is officially happening.
What?
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Micah's not believing it.
Nope. No,
Are
not
you-
until I see.
Are you
an
not
actual-
believing it, or do you not want it to happen? I have to ask that question.
No, of course I want it to happen because they're going to go for the original cast. But there's other cast members that have said, I haven't gotten a call. And I know that actors like to say, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, so far,
Daphne
but-
Keene nailed that
So-
for 2 years.
So
Oh, I know.
Spielberg is attached to it. Laura Shula Donner is attached to it. They don't have a director yet, and they haven't really started on a script. But apparently, it's gotten a green light. So who knows? I mean, but I don't really know what that story would be. Would they call back all the original cast? You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, the Fratellis are in jail. They're not dead. So you could, except for the
One of Mama is.
Yeah,
she
Mama.
passed away. That
Yeah.
that actor passed away.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't know if it would be worth it. I feel like the whole point of Goonies was solved.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's time to go on another adventure, a different adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although,
What is there left to do in
I
the
will.
story?
I will say
Well,
this.
I've been there.
At
I
the
did
age,
the one
at
thing
the age
they
they
did.
are, maybe they're trying to get to CVS to get their meds, and something goes crazy,
Oh my god.
and it becomes this whole adventure.
Well, that's okay because it was right next to the CBD store. So
Yeah.
just take care of business all in
All
one
right.
shot.
I like it.
All right. Lastly, I don't know if you've heard this. In 2013, there was a man in Wales who backed up one of his gaming computers, and with the miscommunication with his partner, she accidentally threw that hard drive. They had a PAL for the dump, right? That hard drive went in the dump. Well, a few months later, he realized it had his wallet key for his Bitcoin on it.
Oh, oops.
So since 2013, he's been fighting with the city of Wales to try to get access to the dump to get that hard drive back. That Bitcoin is now worth $800 million.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's been trying, and he even went to the city council and said, look, give me access to the dump. If I find it, I'll share 25% of it with the city. And they were like, the possibilities, it's too low. Never mind. He's like, what? So now they're getting ready to actually close that dump for good. So he's trying to buy the dump.
Wow.
Which is, last resort.
Listen, we need to get in touch with this guy because if we want anything in Wales to happen, you need to actually call the kings of Wales, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
True. That's true.
If you call them,
Yeah.
they can get it done. If it takes place anywhere in Wales, I promise you they are the kings of Wales right now. Unofficially, of course, but they can get it done.
My concern is, I don't know if that hard drive is even viable at this point. You know, it's been 12 years sitting in a dump.
12 years?
It's been 12 years sitting in a dump, going through all the elements.
I thought it was like a few months, but it's been like
12 years.
a decade plus.
Yeah.
You know what he should do? He should go in with like some sort of a like a metal detector with that big magnet on it and just look for it that way.
That's funny because.
Yeah, no, I get why it's funny.
Okay.
Nerd. Well, that was a really good episode of Nerd News. You heard it here dead last, folks. Wales guy, I really hope it works out for you because,
me
man,
too.
that's just a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Of course, next week it might be worth, so we just don't know. It's Bitcoin.
You know.
All right. Are we ready to kick this episode off?
We are.
All right. So whose turn was it to bring sticks?
Mine.
Okay.
Me,
Oh, I
me.
love that. Me.
Me.
I'm raising my hand, teaching.
I have something that I hope is a treat. I haven't had it yet.
Ooh. I love it when we have it.
But don't.
That was a really weird.
That was the sound that Micah makes when he's very excited.
Yeah. The only description
See?
I'm going to give you of this cigar
See?
is I read one review and it said it is a veritable candy bar.
Huh.
So let's see. Anyway, this is the Nica Libre.
Nica Libre.
It is rolled by AJ Fernandez.
Ooh.
And I went a little different. I went with the Churchill. We don't usually do Churchills.
No, we don't usually do the Churchill.
But I
on
thought,
this
you know what?
program,
We
Brent,
like the Lanceros.
Yeah.
So
I love
let's
Lanceros,
try
yeah.
it. It's
All
close enough. Okay, so this is San Andreas
There you go,
Maduro.
sir.
Thank you.
San Andreas Maduro
Yes.
wrapper.
Good start.
Habano binder and Nicaraguan long fillers.
All right. And you say Fernandez makes this cigar.
It does.
You said it's
fantastic.
a candy bar.
A veritable candy bar.
Veritable. So and it's not flavored.
It's not flavored, no. It's just that since, it's got dark leaf in it, it's going to have like cocoa, chocolate.
Well, I'm
coffee.
definitely getting that on the nosy nose. Oh. Okay, wait. So this is all wrapper, but put your nose on the foot and tell me what you get. It's way deeper. I like that.
That's like 95% cacao.
Cow. All right. I am the
Yeah.
cut.
Look how oily that wrapper is too, though.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy oily.
Let's not waste any time, boys. Let's get into this. because I'm a big fan of AJ Fernandez in terms of his cigar making. And I've smoked AJ for years, but I've never had this one. Now, do you know, Brent, is this a collab with somebody else that he's doing? Or
No.
Okay.
It's like a cherry cordial on the cold draw.
I didn't even do a code draw. I just started toasting.
Toasting.
Same thing, whatever.
220, 221.
That is a very loose straw.
Well, it's a box press, so
Yeah.
you're liable to get a loose straw.
I mean, that's insanely loose, though.
I'm just going to say it now, boys. Take your time.
Yeah, there will
Yeah.
be no double pumping on this.
Take your time.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why I do double pump sometimes is because I want like a larger cloud.
Yeah.
I wanted a little bit more flavor. I feel like every time I exhale and it's just a little, and I'm like, I don't have enough, you know?
Your sound effects are awesome. It's just a little.
Oh, I forgot to say, this is the 1990, by the way. Nica Libre 1990.
Gosh, I feel like I'm in a 1990s coffee house.
Definitely get some coffee bean.
Yeah, there's definitely coffee in there. I do get the chocolate too, but
But
it's
not Starbucks because it's not bitter.
No, too bitter.
It's but it's mostly coffee for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
very interesting.
When you said a veritable dessert or candy bar, rather, I was thinking to myself, like, oh, please, God, let there be some chocolate. But I'm not really getting a lot of chocolate. More coffee.
Well, we'll see if it comes later in the second, third, or something.
It might.
Yeah.
With the Churchill, this is definitely the size of the vitola of a cigar that will change its flavor profile the longer you smoke it. But it was my turn to bring the bottle. And
Uh-oh, somebody's excited.
all right. Now, I woke up this morning convinced that one of us had brought one of these bottles to the show before, to the point where I privately texted Micah and privately texted Brent, and then Brent said, hey, you know we keep a record of everything we've ever done on the show, and here it is, and all you have to do is go out and look at it. And I did, and I went out and looked at it, and we have it, so I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first time I have ever found a bottle of bourbon that I can find out nothing about it online. Not a thing. They do not have a web presence. They do not have a social media presence. They are an actual distillery in Crestwood, Kentucky, which is just northwest of Louisville.
Okay.
So they're in bourbon country. This is a 100 proof bourbon. It is labeled as a Kentucky bourbon, so we know that the mash bill is at least 51% corn. Have no idea what the rest of it is. I haven't even... Now, this particular bottle just released a couple of months ago, so I couldn't even find any reviews on this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I had a question real quick before
Yeah.
we get further into that. I've been noticing lately that the mash bills are being hidden. And I haven't been able to find, like when we first started doing this show, I felt like we always had a mash bill. And then as I started looking in different bottles that I was bringing, I wasn't finding anything. Everything just kept saying undisclosed.
Let me ask you though, like, because some of the early bottles we brought, I think were things we all already that we each knew,
Sure.
Right.
that we liked,
Yeah.
and so we'd had them before, and it was sort of a established distillery, whether it was a bourbon or a Scotch or an American whiskey, and that of course those blends were already out there. They were
Yeah.
already. Do you think it's is it newer distillers who are holding back their mash bill?
Maybe. I just feel like I've been working my way through bottles, and I was like, man, Brent's just going to get mad at me if I don't bring the mash bill.
I'm not going to get mad.
I'm not gonna get mad.
Don't get mad.
That's fine. Anyway. Much. All right. So another reason was I just thought the bottle was cool. And then I liked they did a very good job of the marketing. So this is a distillery again from Crestwood, Kentucky called Dancing Panda.
Ooh.
Now you can see here, you actually have a panda in a top hat and tails and a cape and a little flag.
That is
on
awesome.
top. And if you cannot see this in wide shot, but I'll show the guys. The entire label looks like a giant ticket to the circus. So it's got your admit one here, and it goes all the way around. It gives a little bit of description of it, but not much. Just that it is, it's 100 proof.
I'm getting
And
a
it is
flashback.
straight
Did
bourbon.
we smoke a cigar with a panda on it or something once? With like
I
clothes?
think we did. It was
Maybe it wasn't a panda. Maybe it was a buffalo.
Year the Rat. Was it Year the Rat that we smoked?
No, we did do that Belgian blue with the cow on
The
it.
Belgian Blue with the
Maybe
cow.
that's an-
Yeah.
I'm just getting
Anyway,
a flashback of
yeah.
animals and clothes.
Animals and clothes. Can't go wrong with animals and clothes. So this is actually their 8 year. So they have a 4, an 8, and a 10, I believe.
Nice.
So I got this at my local guy, and I literally picked it up last night because I forgot it was my turn to bring the bottle. So I ran in there.
Happens to the best
and
of
I
us.
and I love this guy. He's a young guy, but you're right. He knows his stuff, and I was like, I came in, and he knows about the podcast. So he saw the look on my face. He goes, "You don't have a bottle, do you?" I was like, "No, I don't, and I need something new." And you know everything that I've drunk already. And he goes, "Calm down." And he takes me over and he shows me this. And so I bought it sight unseen. And then I was literally in the store trying to look something up about this. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No reviews, no web presence, no nothing. And he goes, "Hey, I just opened for myself behind the counter a bottle of the 4-year. So before you buy that, why don't you try this and tell me what you think? And then if you like it, whatever." So this retails for about $60 to $65 a bottle. And so I tried the 4-year, and it was really good. And I thought, okay, if the 4-year is good, and they're maturing it a little longer, and it's the same blend, I think our chances are pretty good.
Smoother and smoother.
Hopefully. I hope it all works out. So this is the Dancing Panda Straight Kentucky Bourbon, aged 8 years from Crestwood, Kentucky. Let's see how this goes.
Right.
I'm actually going to cut myself on this thing.
Yeah. It seems like you want to grab that from the base.
Did anybody hear that?
Not
Just
really.
a little
Let me
bit.
get closer.
Take 2.
There we go.
All right. Feel the heft on that.
That is awesome.
Hey, I knew that was going to happen.
So
I knew that was going to happen, and that is okay. I'm going to give it to you anyway. Well, if we finish the bottle. If we don't, I'm going to take it home, finish it myself.
It looks like
and then I will save this for
that
awesome.
bottle. That bottle reminds me of like an old-timey fire hydrant.
It doesn't it though?
Yeah.
It looks really cool. Yeah. All right, Micah, hand me your glass. Now, this is going to be completely up to you guys because we're going to I always like to start neat.
Yeah, I'd prefer that.
Neat, and then and then if you want, we can go to a rock. Hawk. There you go. A little bit for Mr. Producer.
Stop rock and roll.
Oh.
And then okay. And I'm going to leave this up here for us all to look at. This is a really cool presentation, I have to say. Like, I love Blanton's bourbon, but I think the topper on this one has kind of got that racing horse beat because it's a Dancing Panda.
It really is.
All right, so
smells delicious.
It
so
does.
my guess is it's going to have the your typical bourbon notes of like
Yep.
oak, vanilla, caramel.
Yep. I just gotta
Not
go
a
in.
lot of ethanol for me, even though it's a high proof whiskey.
A little bit.
Yeah, it's not a super burn. It's like a cold winter day nice burn.
Yeah.
Like it's staying with me, but it's not irritating. my
Like
throat.
if you were having a leaf burn in your front yard. Remember when you used to be able to do that legally? God, I miss those days.
We could do it here. We're unincorporated.
We are in later bonus material.
That is a very long finish, though.
Oh yeah.
It really is
Very long finish.
a little spicy,
Mm-hmm.
but not like.
So what the only thing that I saw like and this clearly came from the maker. I actually think it's on the bottle, is that Dancing Panda is made with bourbon drinkers in mind. Like this is not a starter bourbon for anybody. That's the one thing they'll say.
Yeah.
They'll say like, no, you actually need to know a little bit about bourbon and understand your tasting notes and your palate a little bit, then have some Dancing Panda.
Yeah. I'm getting that finish very strong for me. It's like a lemon finish.
A little citrusy.
Yeah. Well, it's more than citrusy. I mean, it's like a lemon, like sourish.
Oh wow, I'm not getting that.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty much the traditional things that you were just talking about before, the vanilla, the caramel, the oakiness. But the thing that keeps standing out to me is the hot sauce burn I've got that's traveled down my esophagus and stays there.
Yeah. It's still burning for me, actually.
Yeah. And I don't hate it because I'm a big fan of hot sauce. So
Well, I love the I love the warm feeling that I'm getting. And by the way, I'm almost out of my Done It hot sauce. Because I've
me
actually
too.
been
I'm
using it. I've been
You
using
guys
it
want
in
some
my
more?
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
In unison, they said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Huck,
because
did you
I've
ever
been
get a bottle?
We're gonna have to get
I'll bring
Hawk
you
a
some.
bottle.
Yeah.
I have 6 bottles left.
Okay, I'll pay you for it. I don't care. Because I'm now using it in my Bloody Marys.
Now I have to throw this bourbon in his face.
I wish you wouldn't, because then we've never had a fist fight on the show. We've come close a couple of times.
It's going to happen one of these days.
Okay, so we are off and running.
It's not if, but when.
Not if, but when. We got the Nica Libre 1900. Thank you, Brent. This is Dancing Panda, 8-year Kentucky straight bourbon. Now, I'm going to let Micah introduce what we're talking about. Now, before we do, I should say this. We are recording this on a Sunday, which is not our usual recording day. Yeah. And the reason why we're doing that is because on Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th, all four of us, the three you can see and the one you can't, at various times went out to see a movie. And we thought, you know what? Even though we're nerds and we like to talk about retro shit, we also like to talk about current stuff. And so we wanted to get this episode out there with our opinions. And yes, it's a movie review. But Micah, what's the movie? If you're watching this, you can't tell at all.
Well,
I'm giving nothing away.
I hate to beat a dead horse, but again,
but again,
they've
go ahead.
seen the title of the episode.
If you didn't look at the title and you didn't look at the episode artwork, and
you're not watching it right now,
and you just blindly press play on episode 30, whatever we're on,
5,
that one, then you would not know that we are doing Captain America: Brave New World.
All right. Now, I have to say this at the outset. We've already talked about this on the show. Micah is far and away the Captain America aficionado of the three of us. I love Marvel.
Huge nerd on it.
I love Marvel. Brent loves Marvel. But this guy is a class above. So I kind of want you to lead the discussion, okay?
I'll do my best.
And I want to begin by asking you, what was your overall impression of the film?
No. We can't do that on the show.
I'm going to start calling you Short Bust.
Thank you. All right. I thought it was good. I was not overwhelmed with joy like I have been with some of the previous Marvel movies.
Can you give me an example of overwhelmed with joy movie?
Oh, like the first time you saw the very first Avengers movie.
No.
Okay. Avengers 1.
Yep.
Like your head just kind of exploded with the light.
Okay.
Or the first time that you saw the first Guardians movie. Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously, just constant joy, one after the other. And I think this has something to do with not necessarily Steve Rogers, but once they had done First Avenger and Winter Soldier, right after that, we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier series, and now we have this. So it's like you kind of have to be in the mindset to appreciate what this is for what it is. And I went into it thinking to myself, I'm sorry, Falcon, even Steve Rogers is not taking down Red Hulk. But we'll get into why that actually made sense later.
So it did make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay. Impression of the film? He said good.
Thought it was good.
What is your take?
I liked it.
Okay.
I made the mistake of watching all of the critic reviews of it. And at the time I went to see it, it had a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought we trained you better than that.
Yeah, I know.
I went dark on the internet.
And then
Same.
it's climbed up to I think 50% at this point.
Yeah.
However, there were parts of it that I thought were played out already. I think they were kind of beating a dead horse on a couple aspects.
Let's get into that, because I actually am very curious if it's going to be the same thing I'm thinking.
Probably. Mostly the part about how Sam's just always doubting himself.
Thank you.
America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the very first thing that popped
to
into
me,
my
the
head.
whole point of Falcon and Winter Soldier was for Sam to work through that. Right. And I felt like that was accomplished. And then we come back to this movie and he's still going, I don't know, type of thing.
Yeah.
So, and then it takes Bucky to come in and go, quit whining.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Bucky is a congressman?
What?
Well,
What?
that somehow I just feel that's going to pay off in the next movie in Thunderbolts. That is going to somehow pay off.
I think so.
Yeah, like he's going to lose his election and go back to kicking ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what's her name? Julie Louis-Dreyfus' character probably going to undercut him, in his congressional race.
I still think that's going to be a Madam Hydra thing. I'm probably wrong, but I'm still.
It would be cool.
I'm still thinking
it would be cool, but let's stay on topic.
Yeah,
here.
definitely.
Okay, I sort of am in the same camp. It was a good movie. It was a solid movie. Yeah, I really thought that there were moments in the film that I was like, didn't we've seen this in a TV series already?
Yeah.
Like it's time to stop doubting yourself, bro. You are Captain America.
Right.
Period. Full stop.
Right.
And now you've got to defend. But now keep in mind he's in a very different position because he knows. And you remember that great speech he gave at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier in the last year?
Yeah.
Man, such good writing. And I just went back to that moment and I was like, okay, but he really didn't have that in the film.
I liked it.
By the way, probably should have said this way up front. We are going to spoil the hell out of this movie. You should have seen it already. Shame on you if you're watching the show. And
if you're a Marvel fan, you've already seen it.
If you're a Marvel fan, you've already seen it. Yeah. But he really didn't have that moment. There was kind of a contrived moment at the very end of the film where he's talking to Red Hulk. And I'm like, first of all, you're talking to a rage beast and you're trying to be sensible.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and that's what they were doing, like in the past ones, where they were trying to calm Bruce down because they would bring up things like the second that he saw Natasha.
Sun's getting low.
Well, besides that, specifically in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh,
when Thor's like, sun's getting real low.
That was such a good payoff.
But when he saw Natasha's face, then it disconnected him from the Hulk and he came back.
Yeah.
So I think the use of Betty was really important.
Yeah, and just as a quick aside, so at the end, when Betty comes to visit her dad, it looked to me like I didn't think it was her. Like when you heard her voice on the phone, I went, "That's not Liv Tyler. That's somebody pretending to be Liv Tyler."
It was Liv Tyler.
No, but it was Liv Tyler because she comes in at the end finally.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me like they did something to her mouth, like they altered it, like CGI altered it something.
I think maybe she altered it.
I mean,
I
that
don't
could probably
have
be true.
confirmation on that, but
that soft voice.
But
yeah. It sounded to me like someone was trying to imitate her voice, but later on, I mean, she's definitely in the movie.
Yeah.
But when I first heard that voice, I was like, I don't know if that's Liv Tyler.
So, we've talked about this in the Star Wars fandom before, and being firmly in the Marvel fandom, I will admit this: Marvel fans are at once the best and the worst of fans. The guys like us, well, when I say guys like us, I mean Gen X, okay? Gen X. A lot of Gen Xers are now becoming to the age where they are set in their ways and they like what they like and they don't like change. I like to think we in this group are a little bit outside of that box because I like to feel like we're a little bit little bit more open-minded.
As you said before, we like to sleep around.
Exactly. And in Micah's case, that is not literally true. Val, love you. It's just like, if anybody, it's just me and Brent. Sometimes
Marvel,
Chris,
DC,
but that's
Star Trek.
Oh, that's what he's talking about.
I guess
Don't drag me down.
Wait.
Don't drag me down.
Don't drag me down.
In the fandom world,
Come on, man.
In the fandom world, with this, I mean, because I'm kind of like DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, Star Wars, Star Trek. Does that make me pan?
I think it would. I think it would make you pan. Yes. If that is how you choose to identify, we accept you for that.
Hold on a second. I have to do something real quick.
Hold on. Boom.
Brent just banged his head against the microphone.
Oh my gosh, you guys. All right.
So, because of that, I think that, and look, I fully agree. Like when Marvel first came out, they did this brilliant thing that no other franchise had ever done. They actually connected however many movies, right?
Yeah.
From the very beginning, go all the way back. They connected somehow. They managed to connect all these movies over the course of a couple of decades.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And now the expectation is there can be no such thing as a standalone Marvel movie. It's got to somehow fit into something else.
But I'm okay with that because...
Well, I agree, and so am I. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of fans who are not.
That's a comic book trend, though.
Yeah.
Because characters, like, they cross over into comics and help out. Like, for instance, I just finished Ghost Rider Essentials, which is all the first books in that really, really big black and white thing. And I had some trouble with it at first, but I kind of liked it. But Spidey comes in. Daredevil comes in.
Mm-hmm.
There's crossover events where people. Karen Page was an actor. She actually moved from New York to L.A. to become an actor in the 70s. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Go Karen.
So I love that. You're about to say something.
Well, I'm just saying, let's get through all of our cool things in the movie thing, and then maybe we need to deep dive a little bit more into it. But anyway, go ahead.
I'd like to go back to that one thing you were just talking about with Sam's whining, because I think to some degree he was doing a pretty good job of accepting his status as Captain America. And when somebody was like, you're no Steve Rogers, and he didn't say what he said in the
I know
he didn't say what
there
he
was
said
not
in the
that
trailer.
payoff. Yeah, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, and he actually kind of dodged. He's like, I'm okay with it. he seems okay. But the one thing that he kept saying over and over again was, "Why didn't I take the Super Zero Syndrome?"
Well,
Well,
I
he
think
said
that was
it as a
more,
joke.
Yeah, as a joke. He didn't. He doesn't
Yeah.
want to take
I
it.
think I'd counted maybe 3 times.
Bucky's
he said
full of, I heard it twice.
Yeah,
okay.
Bucky's full of crap.
Bucky's full of
Yeah,
crap is not the word he used.
yeah. Another thing I thought was cool. There was a, and I didn't know this. This was actually something I found out because like I said, I'm not as deep into Marvel as you are. But the character of Dunphy,
Okay.
the guy that was the one of the mercenary guys that he gives the pills
Oh,
to, and says,
the
Yeah.
Navy
and he says,
SEAL.
"Hey, can you find
Yeah.
out what these are?" So apparently, that is a nod to there's a 1987 edition of Captain America where there's a guy named Dunphy that comes in and he gets turned into a character called Demolition Man.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he gets his powers, and then eventually his powers put too much strain on his heart and he dies of a heart attack. But in this movie, he gets killed by the leader.
Yeah.
But apparently, I don't know if he was supposed to actually be the same character that would have been Demolition Man, because most fans thought Demolition Man was a pretty lame Avenger, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was just a nod to that, or if he was actually supposed to be the guy that was going to be Demolition
Well,
Man.
and then there was another Marvel hero character in the film, an Israeli Mossad agent who was a former Black Widow,
Yes.
and I can't remember her name, but that's Sabra.
Yeah.
So she was Sabra, and I can't remember the actress who played her. There was a little bit of controversy
like no
around
research.
the casting, because I think Sabra in the comic books looks nothing like the one that we saw on the screen. But again, come on,
Seemed to work.
come on, it worked fine.
I wanted to say something about your Demolition Man comment. So the way that Sam has become Captain America in the movies versus the comics obviously is different because creative liberty. But the fact that they actually had Demolition Man in there, he was a contributing factor in the comic book storyline as to
Right.
how Sam became Captain America.
Right.
Investigating Steve Rogers' assassination, which we don't take care of in the MCU.
Right,
No, he just grows old and fades away.
goes old and fades away.
We'll
you know
see.
what? Better to burn out than fade away. Thank you, the Kurgan.
No, that's Def Leppard.
Well,
Yeah, I know. I
yeah,
know.
Kurgan said it first,
But I
It's-
was doing the
it's
Def Leppard
both.
version of it because I did that.
It's both. The Kurgan went to go sing for went to go sing for Def Leppard.
if the Kurgan were here right now, he'd want to know about the first
I
third of
knew
the
it.
cigar.
I knew it was
That's
coming.
right.
I knew it. I was just waiting for it.
I gave you
Yep.
plenty of time
Yep.
to finish my sentence. All right,
Yep.
so we are into the first third of the AJ Fernandez Nica Libre 1990 thoughts, boys.
Toasty Coffee House.
I'm still heavily in the coffee. I'm starting to get a little hint of a chocolate though.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm moving towards a mocha.
I had
Okay.
I had a
That's
cafe
fair.
bonbon for breakfast this morning.
Bonbon?
Because my wife makes them for me on the weekends.
Ooh, did you bring the biscuits and gravy for us to try on the show?
I did not, because we are
Tease.
not
Or is-
prepared for that.
Or as Northerners call that, cement.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh no 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 no!
I was like, please put a T on the end of that.
Yeah, he did. But it's almost like when he says arcade.
I'm sorry, I said it with a Southern accent. Cement.
Cement.
No, it's cement at the arcade. That's what arcades are built of, is cement.
That's right.
God. Oh, I'm losing control. Yeah, so I'm not getting any chocolate right now.
Really?
Like none
Okay.
whatsoever. I'm getting definitely good strong coffee. Love that. Surprisingly, this is a San Andreas wrapper that is not as strong as what I'm used to.
Right.
So like,
Oh yeah, this is a medium cigar, by the way. I forgot to tell you. I forgot to put that in the description.
I know that this is kind of probably taboo what I'm going to say, but
Say
I
it.
almost feel like I'm sitting outside of a coffee shop back in the middle 90s having a Dunhill and a cup of coffee at the same time.
what's a Dunhill?
Dunhill's a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
But it's not like it's not like a typical, it's a nice cigarette.
That's a contradiction in terms, I feel.
A cigarette I miss.
It's a nice cigarette. I don't know. That's it's like saying peacekeeper missile
Only if you're the one handing the sticks.
or grandchildren. Anyway, sorry, Grandpa. I'm so sorry. I did not mean. No offense to your grandchildren.
So lots of fun action in this film.
Yeah, it was good action.
What'd you guys think of Joaquin?
Oh yeah.
I thought he was great.
my gosh,
Yeah.
so good.
He has sidekick
yes,
written
yeah.
all over him. He is 100% sidekick. Now, I will say this, however. At the time in the film where he gets shot down, I was not invested enough in him as a character to go, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah,
I didn't
It
cry.
wasn't like when
you felt worse for Sam.
It wasn't like when Rhodey got shot out of the sky by Vision.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't horribly invested, and I don't think it was because I didn't like the character. I think it was because of the overall writing, where my brain just went, "He's gonna be fine."
I think that it reminded me a lot of that Looney Tunes thing with Butch and the yipping dog that comes up next to him.
Hey, Spike! Hey, Spike!
Hey, Spike! Yeah, that's one of the things that I thought of the most when I saw him around here, especially when he confessed to him that like I didn't want to be Cap, I wanted to be you.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Oh, teach me your kick! Teach me your kick!" And I'm like, "Hey, Spike, teach me your kick!"
Yeah,
yeah.
As the sidekicks go, I thought he was great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about Harrison Ford.
Okay.
So,
or as we like to call him, Harrison Old.
Okay, so playing General Ross.
First of all, difficult shoes to fill.
Difficult shoes to fill,
Big time.
And I think he basically played it. It reminded me of like, what was that series he did? The Tom Clancy stuff he did.
Oh, Air
Jack
Force
Ryan.
One. And
Yeah, Jack Ryan.
Yeah. Patriot Games.
Patriot Games. It reminded me of him playing that character, but just angrier.
Yeah.
I
feel like William Hurt was a lot more stout. I didn't buy Harrison Ford, old man Indiana Jones.
Well, and the other guy, that was the one that was in Roadhouse.
As military.
The one that was in Roadhouse.
Sam Elliott?
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Sam Elliott was in the movie?
Didn't he play Ross? No, not in this movie, but hadn't he played Ross in one of the Hulk movies? Wasn't he Ross?
Nope. William Hurt the whole time.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incidentally, he did play the first Ghost Rider in the first Nick Cage Ghost Rider movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I agree with you. First of all, I thought that William Hurt's portrayal of Thunderbolt Ross was a little more pragmatic. Like, it was very little emotion. It was like, look, my whole job is to protect the country and now the world, and this is what we have to do. And yes, we have to make compromises, but damn it, this is for the greater good.
Well,
whereas Harrison Ford was like way more emotional. Now, you could make the argument, if you were the writer, that he has now been subjected to these gamma pills for years and years, so he's getting more emotional.
Well, but I think, so I don't know if what they were trying to do with this character, what this arc was, I'm getting old and I'm looking death in the face. So now I start to reflect on who I am as a person,
and I should be president. That's what I should do.
And I want to get better. But he kept saying I'm trying to get better, but I never truly believed that. At the end of the day, he was who he is, right? He was more more power hungry than anything.
The scene in the raft when it's all wrapped up and Sam goes to visit the now ex-pres in the raft did not feel believable to me. Good on Sam's character for saying, hey, I came to visit you because I want to see how an old soldier's doing, and I believe you can change. But I was sitting there going, he has not changed a bit.
Yeah.
He is only repentant because he got caught.
Yeah.
So that I didn't really buy it.
Well, but there was also times when when the leader was threatening to expose him, where you saw the petulant child come out. You have to see my point of view. I'm just doing what I think is right, and blah blah blah. I'm not a bad person. Whatever.
Right. Did anybody feel like Harrison Ford was playing it a little bit too much? Harrison Ford.
Well, I mean,
there were characteristics.
There are actors.
He's in his 80s.
I was gonna say there are actors that no matter what character they play,
Keanu Reeves.
It's almost the same. It's
Tommy Lee Jones.
I mean,
Tommy Lee Jones.
But you know what? I'll go see any movie that Tommy Lee Jones is in because I love Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's bad. He's a bad actor. I'm just saying there's a lot of actors like that they approach every character basically the same way.
Well, and look, if you had that kind of success and stayed in your lane, good for you.
I wanted to see him transform a little bit. But I guess maybe the other trouble that you have is that you don't want to be too much like William Hurt because you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I saw an interview with Harrison Ford the other day, and the interviewer was obviously knew Harrison very well, but he asked him a question. He said, what does it take? Is there a part of your brain that you turn off because you just feel so ridiculous when you see yourself becoming the Hulk?
I saw this interview.
And Harrison's like, I hate to break your bubble, but that's what the money's for.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't give a good damn about how ridiculous I look. I just keep thinking this number followed by so many zeros.
Well, the CG on the Red Hulk was very nice. The only thing I missed was that Red Hulk has inherent fire abilities.
Yeah.
Like when the more pissed off he gets, the more he catches on fire.
If you noticed, every time he touched something or something, it would kind of start to singe a little bit. Nothing actually caught on fire.
When he first started changing,
no, even
he
later
started
on.
Smoke. Like the first time he started to smoke a little bit, I was like, he's going to catch on fire.
This time, what I thought they did better about the Hulk CGI was the bullets, the bullet hits.
Yeah.
Like you could really see him this time and see him just like,
yeah.
So I thought that was pretty good. The combat sequences were good. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say they were great. Like they weren't on the par of like the Russo brothers in Civil War.
Yeah.
Like that was just next level.
Or even Winter Soldier, when you were watching how
well, Winter Soldier was maybe my favorite. Oh, yeah. In terms of the pure action sequences and like how hard those guys had to work.
Oh, yeah.
As actors, because the Russo brothers were like, well, "This is not going to be a stuntman. This is you, bro."
Oh, the Krav Maga that was just
you
like
get in on it.
Free.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
Yeah,
and I loved the cameo by Bucky Barnes. Here's the question I want to ask you guys because I know what a huge fan you are of Steve Rogers.
Yep.
And I'm going to start with you. How? Because you knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Because you read all the comic books, eventually that, Cap moves on and Sam Wilson becomes. How are you with that change? We know he's going to be back because it said so at the end of the movie. How are you with this iteration of Captain America in the movies?
I'm okay with it. I need to know that Sam is not going to take the serum because he never does. Okay. There is a point later on, at least but the problem here is that I have to separate myself from the books versus the movies because the road that they've gone down puts a finality on Steve Rogers unless they yank him from another universe. And my understanding is that Chris is done. To answer your question, I think that I'm okay with it. And the reason why is because of something that Bucky specifically said.
I know exactly where you say it.
The reason why Steve chose Sam is because who he is.
Yeah.
And that harkens back to Erskine. Erskine was charged with choosing the person that was going to become Captain America, and he chose Steve because of who Steve is.
Right.
To be a good man.
Because his version of the super soldier serum enhanced what was inside of you.
Exactly. But Sam has that quality.
Agreed.
And he doesn't need the serum to do it.
Exactly. And then there was another thing in the same scene. It was the cameo scene with Bucky Barnes. He said to Sam, "Steve gave people hope. You give people something to aspire to."
Yeah.
And the whole reason for this iteration of Captain America is because Sam is the embodiment of you don't need super serum to make these choices, to make these hard sacrifices.
Even though he had his doubts.
However,
you just need Wakanda tech.
I was gonna say,
doesn't hurt.
Exactly, I was going to say.
Doesn't hurt.
So in lieu of the super serum, what they've done so he could take the poundings and the Hulk can sit there and punch him and he not hurt is they've given him the vibranium wings
and suit
that absorbs the energy that he can then use to, like Black Panther did.
I'm glad you brought that up because now in this movie, we are made aware as moviegoers, if you're in the comics, you already knew it, but as moviegoers, we are made aware that the celestial being is made out of adamantium, which has only heretofore existed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the guise of Logan, a.k.a. Wolverine.
Which means Wolverine hasn't been chocolate dipped yet.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where some of my questions start to come in. To me, it's confusing timelines.
Okay.
Right? And I mean, it's been a while since I've watched, the original X-Men movies or the Wolverine movies besides Deadpool and Wolverine. But where does that put that in the timeline? Because to me, we've gone through the original Avengers now.
Sure.
Right? And then, of course, Ross asked Sam to restart the Avengers. But now this officially brings adamantium in.
Into 616.
Yeah, into 616. So I'm just like, does that mess at all with the previous timeline?
I don't think
X-Men and
so.
stuff?
I think that it's not unreasonable. Yes, please. I don't think that it's unreasonable to assume that
Take a little more.
that the X-Men didn't start evolving until later, or something happened earlier in one timeline versus another.
Will you hand me the producer's glass, please? Thank you so much.
It's okay that there were circumstances that occurred in various other timelines that allowed the X-Men to form when it did. Now, that doesn't mean that Magneto's not around out there somewhere doing his thing. It also tells us, though, that Magneto is not the father of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
See, this is why I'm glad we're having this conversation, because you're so much more versed in this lore than I am. Because when I heard that, I went back to X-Men Origins Wolverine. This super secret, quasi-government organization found this meteorite.
Yeah.
And they kept it to themselves. And there's no indication that anybody else in the world knew about it.
Yeah. Until
Until we got to the Wolverine and the Super Samurai or whatever he was.
Silver
Samurai. So could it be that we're in the same timeline and and the rest of the world is now just finding out about adamantium?
Yeah, I think so. I think that the other timelines, well, the other universes, they had circumstances that introduced them to adamantium earlier, because as we know, Logan didn't have his adamantium dip until much later. He was just functioning on regenerative
Bone claws.
yeah, regenerative abilities
Claws.
and
It's a
fighting his way
great
through
name
the
for a
ages.
group, by the way.
Bone
Ladies and gentlemen,
Claws.
please welcome Bone Claws.
But it's got to be singular, like
Bone Claw?
Yeah, Bone Claw.
I agree.
Very
Bone
good.
Claw.
And you got to drop your jaw.
Bone Claw.
Yeah, there we go. I like the lip dip.
Thank you.
But I'm okay
That
with
was a
it.
mini stroke.
I like it. I like what they're doing with it. This will be a good way to lead into MCU 616.
Yeah.
Even though 616 has had adamantium for God knows how long. Now, I do have a confession. I've always been more Avengers Defenders than I have been X-Men. So my buddies, Scott, Kent, and Clint, they are the X-Men nerds. They could come on this show and show us all up. They could give us history for days.
I'd be okay with that.
So I don't know where adamantium came from in the books,
Yeah.
which is okay. But the fact is that they call MCU 616 616. And that's what we deal with the sacred timeline in the books.
Right.
I mean, everything else is
multi.
Yeah. And then once we later on in the show get into talks of Secret Wars, I do have information there.
Okay.
Well, isn't so the post credit scene?
Yes.
With the leader.
So you want to get into it?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I do.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Please, can we get into
So
it?
to me, so they're setting up Secret Wars, right?
Yes.
With that scene. Yeah.
But not the 80s one.
Okay.
They're setting up the Hickman 2015 one.
Okay.
And this one, if you're not familiar,
Not familiar at all.
it's not a spoiler. 2015. 10 years ago, they decided to redo it, where they had a thing where they actually, my wife and my daughter, both when we saw Captain America: Brave New World, they said, "What are they talking about with the worlds? Why didn't they just call it a universe or a multiverse?" I said, that's not what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're talking about worlds, and to understand what happens in Secret Wars, is that a being, which I won't spoil too much, because if anybody wants to read this, please go read it. It's good stuff. Basically, grabs chunks of worlds, brings them all together, and forms Battle World.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you talked about this.
that's what the leader's referring to.
Okay.
Is all of these worlds coming together into one planet.
Right.
Man, I did not get that at all.
And you shouldn't.
Because we're not the huge nerd that he is.
Well, but
Fair.
and you know what? I feel the poor person for it. But when I saw that scene, I actually accused, and I think I texted you this. I said, that's just lazy writing.
Yeah.
Because it was like, do you think this is the only world? I'm like, first of all, everyone on 616 knows that this isn't the only world, because we just, like 3 scenes ago, talked about 2 alien invasions.
And we've
that
also
Steve
had
Rogers stopped.
All of these movies talking about multiverse with different worlds.
Yeah.
I mean, it all becomes a matter of terminology and what
Right.
are we actually talking about.
Right.
So the leader's word choice was important.
And
So-
so that's what you're speculating, that he's setting up 2015 Secret Wars.
Yes.
Okay.
So did they ever actually call him the leader in the movie?
No.
because the only scene
I
that
never
when,
heard it.
when Dunphy asked him who he was, he said, "I'm the hero." And that's, I think, the only thing we come close to a name for this guy.
Yeah.
Besides his real name.
Yeah.
Steve
Samuel
Stearns.
Stearns.
Samuel Stearns.
Stearns.
So props to the guy. I just have to say this. Props to the people who decided to style the leader the way they did.
Yeah.
Because if anybody's familiar with the leader, yes, he has a comically large green head, and a little weird mustache, and and a very strange suit. I mean, and if nobody's actually familiar with the leader, where the Hulk got his gamma radiation and became big and strong, Samuel Stearns becomes super ass smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is proven in the movie, obviously, too. But I really liked his what is it?
Deformed?
Deformation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Deformation type head?
Yeah. And then the one clouded eye and the one green
Oh,
eye.
yeah.
And by the way, I love Tim Blake Nelson. I love everything this dude's ever been in.
Oh, I like
the,
that too.
The role I always go back to was he was in a movie with George Clooney and John Turturro called. Oh my God! Seriously? It took place in the Depression.
I feel like we're gonna have a Three Stooges moment where
place
he
in the
hits us both
Depression.
at the same time.
Took place in the Depression.
Hey, Mo.
They sang a song and got famous as the Foggy Bottom Boys.
Oh, the prison one.
Yeah, you're there.
What was that called? They were in the prison.
Yeah.
They were
Wait. Who was in it with him?
It was George Clooney, Tim Blake Nelson,
Yeah.
and John Turturro.
Yeah.
It was the, oh my gosh, it was, I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
Oh brother, where
There
art
you
thou?
go. Well, also, Tim Blake Nelson is in one of just, those movies that are just kind of a little bit of offset from your normal, but they're still really good. They attract you for some reason. The Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
That is an awesome
yes!
show.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't seen that,
Yeah.
go see
Yeah,
that.
it's on Netflix.
Yeah. He is amazing.
I
He is
loved that
amazing.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Surprised that wasn't in
and
the
weirdly
theaters.
enough, the guy he faces down in the saloon is played by the Kurgan.
That's right. That's what's his name? Mr. Krabs.
God darn it.
People are screaming.
It doesn't matter.
At
There
their
can only be
screens and stuff
one.
right now. Yeah, people are screaming it at their screens. Oh, Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Thank you.
Mr. Krabs.
It really doesn't matter. There can only
He
be
was
one.
also Rawhide in Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension.
Yes.
Love you, Clancy. Love you.
He's so cool.
All right, so
Someone I never got to meet. I
Oh,
always wished I had.
did you have the opportunity and just didn't get to meet him? Okay,
No,
so
never
he
came to one of my shows.
Okay. Because that would have been very un-Micah
yeah. Yeah.
for someone he really, really wanted to meet to be at one of his shows and him not get to meet that person. That's just not cool. Yes, sir. Did you have a thing you want to say?
No. I mean, I don't know if do we want to talk about how now the way the leader came to be is that in line with the original story?
That he got infected by Banner's blood.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't either.
I don't know
I
either.
really don't remember.
Yeah.
I did read.
Now, was it 2008 Hulk? That is how it happened.
in the MCU.
Yes, because Tim
Yeah.
Blake Nelson played that character. He's actually reprising his
And
role
he's
as the leader.
smiling, and
Yeah.
I love that they brought him back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was great.
It was good stuff.
Yep.
So about the Wakanda tech, that was the first second that his suit started to glow a little purple.
Oh yeah, we all saw it.
And the fact that that every single thing that was thrown at Red Hulk bounced off of him. Oh my gosh! Except vibranium.
Yeah.
Sharp vibranium.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm all right with that. But it still seems to me that you're going to piss him off. What about that moment when they're all holding guns on the Hulk? I'm sitting there in the
I
theater.
know. She's like,
and Piper and I,
like holding her gun. I'm like, what are you doing?
Piper and I both are going, don't shoot it. If you shoot
just
him,
gonna make him mad.
Oh, oh, there you went and shot him. Oh, you know what? Everything that happens to you, you deserve.
That's right.
Because you didn't watch the first Hulk movie.
It's like they didn't watch everybody else that tried to shoot him.
every
See what
other
happens
Hulk,
when
yeah.
you shoot a Hulk.
Well, for me, I had that moment where and this was in no way a reference in Brave New World, but I had I went straight back to one of my favorite comedies of all time, Blazing Saddles. No, don't do that. If you shoot
Don't
him,
turn us
you'll
off yet.
If you shoot him, you'll just make him mad. Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Mongo.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm very torn about the film overall because I love the character of Sam Wilson and I love Anthony Mackie's interpretation of Sam Wilson.
Yep.
And I want it to continue. I want to see, like, I'm almost certain we're going to see him in Secret War.
Yeah,
I'm
still
like,
missing his
how can we not
telepathic ability with birds, but
Yeah.
I'll get over it.
But how can we not see Captain America in Secret War? Like, we just have to, you know. What was also interesting to me was the fact that I didn't like other post-credit scenes have really made a very obvious setup for something coming. And I don't feel like this was the case that time. And again, it may be what you said. It may be like, you got to be a super nerd.
I really felt like it was too much of a deep cut for regular MCU
for cinematic
fans.
audiences.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
for MCU fans, it was too vague.
You know,
Yeah.
speaking of deep cuts, we probably should talk about the second third of this.
Nice transition. Nice. All right, here we go.
Oh, toasted nuts.
Yeah, toasty.
Toasted nuts. I feel like
It's kind of dry
Roasted.
and roasted.
what am I thinking?
Yeah.
Like, what is that thing? Like you're in the middle of you're in the middle of New York City in winter. And you get toasted.
You can get
roasted.
cashews, peanuts. You can get almonds, chestnuts. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And
I was looking
they're
for the old
and
40s.
they're a little. They're a little sweet when you get them
chestnuts
from
can
the.
also give you
from
worms.
the vendors.
You know. But yeah, the coffee. So the coffee for me is hardly there now. It's mostly like the toasted nuts you're talking about.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I have been having to relight a lot, and maybe it's because I'm going too slow with this. But I have to tell you, the lightness of the draw is really bothering me.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Why?
just it's so light. There's no resistance, and it's so light.
I'd like to talk about that for a second because one of the things that discourages me about some cigars is that I can't find a happy medium in the sticks that I buy. Like some of them are super tight and I have to use a draw enhancer. Some of them are relaxed like this and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm trying, because I'm talking about a subject that excites me, I'm trying not to you know, back in the old days, it's like, you know, just like again with the Janine Garofalo and the fast burning paper. That was so good.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like to, I mean, you like resistance in a cigar.
Well,
then.
a little bit. I mean, yeah, I think so because I think it, and maybe it's more of a tactile thing than anything, just kind of letting you know that you're getting something. Because this draw is so light, it feels like you're just not getting anything. You end up with a good amount of smoke, but it just to me it feels like you're not getting anything. Right?
I disagree because you know you talked about the reason why you double pump.
Yeah,
because you feel like you're not getting that. Okay, but watch, I'm going to do a slow draw.
I'm convinced I'm smoking wrong sometimes.
Yeah,
and that was extremely satisfying.
Yeah,
I kind of did it too.
And I'm taking my time. This is not too easy of a draw for me. Here's the other thing. As an experienced cigar guy, I've realized that what I have to do is I have to adapt to the cigar.
Yeah. Now
sometimes you just can't. Like if you like reach in and pull out a twig or something, yeah, that's just a poorly constructed cigar. But if you've got a box press cigar, for those of you who are new, if you've got a box press cigar, the draw tends to be easier. So you must take your time. If you suck on it like you're trying to get a golf ball through a garden hose,
hello,
you're going to be done in about 5 minutes. You're also going to have a head high that will kill you. So, you know, you take your time with it.
Well, let me ask you about this then, because now I'm kind of curious because sometimes I think I'm doing it wrong all the time because when I come across a cigar like this, I get a single pump and I'm extremely happy about it. So when you get an extremely tight draw and you're not using a draw enhancer, Larry, describe what you go through when you're hitting it. Can you be like completely elaborate? Can you elaborate on this? Just
well, I like if I get a cigar with a tight draw, I have to make some decisions fairly early on. Did I cut my cigar properly? Did I cut too shallow? It's very possible that I did. So I'll look at that. And sometimes I go, yeah, that's a little bit of a shallow cut. So I'll recut my cigar. Here's another way to know if you have cut too shallow. If you're drawing on cigar and it's a tight draw, but you keep doing it and you start to tar, probably you've cut too shallow.
okay.
So, and that typically happens with me when I'm smoking a torpedo. Because it's tapered on
Very
both
tight.
ends, and I tend to cut shallow on those because I don't want to ruin the back end of the cigar. So I'll sit there and I'll start drawing, and I'll okay, because you know it takes a while for the foot to start to burn too, and I'll pull and all of a sudden what is that? And I'll look. Sure enough, I got a little tar bead right there. So now you've got to recut.
Yeah.
And then I'll just slow it down.
That's
and then,
why I use on the tapered ends, I use the Cuban cut where you come in at the angle because it opens up the draw a little bit more and it doesn't ruin the cap.
Yeah.
Well, if you have something that's tighter, though, I mean, can you describe how you hit? Because you said before something interesting that I haven't heard before, where you are kind of adjusting the way you're smoking. So, in order to get the amount of smoke that you want in your mouth at that moment without double pumping, what do you do?
Sometimes I just will give up and double pump.
Okay.
Yeah, I will absolutely. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you that there is. Again, guys, when we are drinking whiskey and smoking cigars and also talking about nerd shit, this is completely subjective. So don't let anyone tell you you're doing it wrong. There are definitely some things you can do wrong. You can cut wrong. You can light wrong. You know, there are things. But if you get satisfaction from hitting that cigar twice and then getting a good amount of smoke because you can't get that from a single draw, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anybody tell you that there is. So I will often do that. Now, if I've got a relatively tight draw, but it's a good cigar and I'm really enjoying it, I'll just slow my draw down. So I'll just slow it way down. Like I'm even with a loose draw like that, I've got to slow my draw way down.
Because you're going to just...
Because I would be like, if I smoked this like I smoked, say, a Liga Privada No. 9, I'd be done right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would don't want to Garofalo that thing.
That is a new thing that we are going to say. Man, you are Garofalo-ing the hell out of that cigar.
Garofalo-ing the hell out of that
What
stick.
is wrong with you?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's get back to Captain America Brave New World. In the pantheon of Marvel movies, there have been some home runs, and there have been some also-rans, and there have been some duds. Where would you put Captain America Brave New World?
Well, definitely above Dark World.
I agreed. I don't think...
Did I go too far?
No, I don't think anyone here would disagree with you.
It's going in the Wayback Machine.
I thought it was fun. I still put a lot of other MCU movies ahead of this one.
Sure.
I really want to like it, and it's kind of like when I was talking to people about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that if I wasn't as invested in the character and what he stands for, then maybe I wouldn't put it higher than other people would.
Brent?
Man, I don't know. There's so many.
Okay, let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah, what
do we realize
30s?
How many Marvel movies
35.
there have been? Yeah.
This is number 35.
35.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I just finished
And
them
that does-
all again. I did a whole marathon all the way through.
And that doesn't count the streaming series,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the
of
movies.
which there are also many.
I mean, I don't know. It's definitely not one of my higher ups. I mean, if I was going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a solid 6. You know,
Yeah, I did not.
it was enjoyable, but there were too many times in the movie where it felt like Sam was not the lead character. I felt like there were times throughout the movie where he was trading off the lead with other people.
That's
I can
interesting.
see that.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that statement either.
What about you, Larry?
I love Anthony Mackie. I love what he's doing with the Sam Wilson character. I do not blame that. The writing could have been better. The story should have been better. I think that Feige could have held out a little longer and said, guys, we need a better story. I always go back to, speaking of the Disneyverse, I always go back to Brad Bird, who was the original guy at Pixar.
Friend of Chad Bird?
And he would, no, but cool. Because Brad would often say, and like he said, it took us, to get the first Toy Story made, it took more than 4 years. And the majority of that time, people were working on the animation. We were getting all that done, but the story wasn't there. And we were not going to produce a movie until we had a good story to tell. And so there are times when I feel that the MCU has definitely nailed that, and times when I feel like they were rushing a product to market. This feels a little like the latter. Like they were just trying to get it out there.
Well, so do you think that? So remember when like there was just a slew of Marvel movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were all pretty much doing very well up until you start getting into like Eternals, Ant-Man, and Quantumania, that kind of stuff. But before then, they were just putting out movie after movie, and it was kind of like the public. Maybe it was just fatigue.
Well, it's
fatigue.
superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's the thing.
so anyway, they slowed down production of movies, right?
Yep.
But I wonder if in doing so they kind of lost momentum.
I'm thinking you're right.
Yeah.
I really do. And to your point before, I was feeling that way as having recently worked my way through every single MCU movie. I didn't do series, but I felt that way about Guardians 3. And rewatching it, I really liked it, but then I was like, I feel like it lost some of the steam that the other two had.
That's interesting because I didn't feel that way at all. That was one of the best wrap-up films I've ever seen.
I mean, it was fantastic, no doubt.
I cried my eyes out.
Except for the Guardians Christmas special.
Dude,
which they made a reference to, and I thought that was really
yes,
cool.
they did. That was 10 kinds of awesome.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Again, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is so big right now.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep getting bigger.
And because there's still so much material.
Yeah.
They'll never, this is, like, they'll never actually run out of source material.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to the point where they could actually make, what is this, the fourth Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But for MCU, it's going to be the first.
Yeah.
But they played it really smart because it's taking place in a different universe.
Yeah. Well, I think that, we had a discussion one time about the different kinds of fans, right? The casual fans, the people that are just the movie fans, and people that are deep fans. And I would say there needs to be some amount of caution used talking about the endless source material, because I think that if they start going down the roads of like the comic books, right? They're just going to end up confusing the movie fans, and I don't think it's going to connect. I think you're going to have a core group of hardcore Marvel fans that go, they're exploring these other universes and whatnot, other storylines. But your casual fans, I don't think it's going to connect. And unfortunately, the casual fan buys most of the tickets.
Well, you're absolutely right. They do buy the majority of the tickets.
I really, really agree with you on this. This is a hard one because I can think of like even one other storyline off the top of my head. I mean, besides, they were talking about doing Armor Wars a while ago.
Yeah.
They're missing key characters for that storyline now.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, do I want to see it with however they're going to modify it? There was another storyline in the comic books that was so effing good called Fear Itself. If you haven't read that one, go now. Drop everything, read that series.
Turn this off, get out of
Yes, turn it off. No, Fear Itself was one of the most amazing ones. And to sum it up, everybody gets a hammer.
Nice.
I'm serious. Nice. Hulk gets a hammer.
Nice.
Everybody, they have to face an antagonist that requires Odin, who isn't around anymore in the MCU,
right.
Which requires Odin to basically outfit all of these superheroes we know and love with Uru, which is what the hammer's made of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mjolnir's made of Uru. So, I mean, it was like, oh God, I want to see stuff like that, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The normal ticket buyers out there are going to have a problem.
It's going to get too confusing.
Yeah.
And this was my concern about the whole multiverse thing.
Yeah.
Is that my daughter never read the comic books, huge MCU fan. But once we started getting into the multiverse, she's like, okay, wait, who's part of what and this and that? Like, she loves, okay, what is the name that you use for the English actor who played Doctor Strange?
Dirkabit Cumberbatch.
Dirkabit
Cumberbund.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's not even done. Like Benedict is ready to just like let me jump back into this.
Oh
character.
yeah.
And I want to see some Cleo. So
yeah.
Cleo Strange, which surprise, his wife, Doctor Strange finally gets married to Dormammu's daughter.
Wow.
Which wasn't that her in at the end of Multiverse?
It sure was.
Yeah.
Played
by Charlize Theron.
What an amazing casting choice.
Yeah.
She looks so awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's like and that's an article I came across recently that was along the lines of the same stuff, is that there are so many loose ends based on what they had to shelve for the fact that they didn't complete the Kang storyline.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I hate the idea that they're not going to do it any kind of justice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
They're not going to finish it. I need finality. We have the Council of Kang.
We're gonna go
out there ready to kill us all.
You're right. We're going to go off topic a little bit, but I do want to get into that. I know we never do that on the show. What other choice did they have? Would you have accepted a recast?
I would.
Would you have really?
They did it with Rhodey. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Nobody liked Terrence anyway, though. I mean, come on, man. Nobody even knew who that character was until Don Cheadle took it over.
Next time, baby.
Oh. So you would have accepted a recast?
I really would have.
Okay.
I wanted them to do it. I wanted them to finish that storyline because Kang, unfortunately, in the early days, Kang just had a habit of being blessed with great 32nd century technology and still getting his ass kicked over and over. And the way they portrayed him in this was like verging on omnipotence.
Yeah.
And they had to be really careful.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
and sadly, I thought Jonathan Majors did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I thought he
too.
really was good because he sort of rode that line of, like, honestly, the same way that Josh Brolin did with Thanos. Like, he's evil, but he seems to have good intentions.
I mean,
what's the deal
well,
there?
he did up until Endgame.
Yeah.
Or
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the way they always feel. I mean, they know they're not going about it quite the right way, but the ends justify the means type of thing.
we
right?
could tie this back into to Brave New World pretty easily. Because this is the kind of villain that the MCU has built. Is the fact that as a generally positive thinking person, they produce a villain that has a reason that you can. It's like
Complicated.
It's very complicated.
They're complicated.
Who is that comedian that used to do the joke about
my gosh.
like I don't agree with
actually
it,
overstuff.
but I understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's a trend in movie making that's come about in the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years, is where, before you had the bad guy and he was the bad guy. And he knew he was the bad guy and everything he did was bad and he knew it was bad and he didn't care
Skeletor.
because he was psychotic. Yeah. Yeah, right.
Total bad guy.
But what they've started doing is they've started humanizing the bad guy and, making it more complicated. Oh, it's just a guy that has good intentions, but, feel sorry for him because he's got a great idea. He's just not doing it the right way.
I would
He didn't
argue
have the
that
right PR team.
I would argue
Right.
that has been happening in storytelling since the beginning. Because
I believe it's there, but I'm just saying in these types of movies, I've noticed it's they kind of trend it to where that's that feel sorry for the bad guy. He's just trying his best,
everyone
type of thing, right?
everyone sees themselves as the hero in their own story.
I mean, by the end of the Infinity War, I was like, or even during Infinity War, I was sitting there thinking to myself, do I disagree with Thanos? I don't know if I can say that out loud.
Well, philosophically, he was tired of it was too hard to live. There were so many people, so many beings,
And
that there
affected his planet.
and there weren't enough resources. Yeah, and ended up ravaging his planet and stuff. So you get it. You get where that motivation comes from. However, the way in which he was going about it was kind of
He was the only
Homicidal.
one that understood it.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you call it.
Only
Psychotic.
one.
Yeah.
Well, so again, to tie this back to the subject, which is Brave New World, I think you could actually put Thunderbolt Ross in that.
Yes.
Absolutely. And that's what I was saying. In this movie, they were doing the same thing with him. So, I think it's up in the air whether or not he was actually trying to change and become a good person. He definitely had regrets, and mostly they were related around Betty, right?
Betty, yes.
But you get what his motivation was and what he's trying to do and stuff. But I felt in this movie that you started to see the cracks in the armor, with this character, right?
Yeah.
He's basically just a scared little kid on the inside, which most bullies are, right?
Yeah.
I'm
I'm glad that Sam didn't. That's a point. I'm glad that Sam didn't actually take a moment to just say, "Oh, you know what? You're the president. You must be perfect now."
Yeah.
He still kind of held him at arm's length.
Yeah.
Oh, go back to the Sokovia Accord.
Yes.
Yeah. So he knew the history.
And that stuff and they
had that
actually
history.
addressed it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
did.
what
I
happens
love
when we
that.
disagree?
Oh yeah, you used to hate us. Now you want us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You want me to rebuild the Avengers?
Yeah.
Right.
The ones that you tried to stop?
And then he goes,
stomp
and then
on?
Sam's like, "What happens if we disagree on how to handle the situation? We'll figure it out."
Yeah.
It's
It's exactly what Thanos said. We'll figure it out.
Figure it out.
It's exactly what Kang said. You know what? We'll figure it out. But I think Marvel has done a great job of complicating its villains, and I think you should complicate your villains in a story, because otherwise they are one-dimensional and nobody cares. No one develops empathy for them, and they You know, they know ultimately you've telegraphed. You know they're going to get defeated. Good guy wins. Whatever. I like the fact that we don't. Ross's story isn't done yet. He's in the raft. We know that.
Yeah. And
Story's not done.
And I think doing that kind of lets them explore the character of people like Steve Rogers or Sam, because the one trait they share in common is they always see the good in people. They always have hope. They're optimistic, right?
Yes.
So no matter what a person's done, they believe they can change. I mean, Sam even says it. I believe you can change. I can believe you better. And so I think by exploring the other side of the villains that way, it allows those characters, it allows the traits of those characters to be explored a whole lot more too.
That is the one thing that I love about Sam's character, and that is the one thing that carries over the legacy of Steve Rogers, Captain America, is no matter how hard it gets, he's going to try really, really hard to see the possibility of the good in people.
Or to keep doing what a good man would do and not a soldier.
Right.
And that's another thing that I'm really appreciating about. And Cap's actually had that history through his whole, whoever was playing Cap at the time, whether it was Steve, whether it was Buck, or whether it was Sam, whether it was Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
Because he was the Captain America of the 70s. And I mean, while Steve was in the ice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this whole thing, one of the things that I really appreciated about what Sam did with the character was that he didn't try to be Steve.
Yeah.
He just continued to be himself and carry on the legacy of Captain America. Mm-hmm. And what Captain America stands for, whether that agrees with the government or not.
So there's a deep thread that I've always wished they would explore more, which is the only super soldier who ever got Erskine's original formula was Steve Rogers.
Right.
There were many copies made after.
Yep.
And they went lots of different ways.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of different ways. And so, like, you had Isaiah Bradley, who was a good guy throughout, but he's, the government still threw him in prison for 30 years and whatever, but he was still a good guy. But then you have, like, John Walker, who became American agent, who he went bad,
U.S. agent.
He just went bad.
Actually, it's U.S. agent.
I'm sorry, you're right. U.S. agent. Apologies. But that was an interesting, and to me, that is the reason that Sam decided ultimately not to take the serum.
Yeah.
Because there was one original recipe, and Steve got it, and then Erskine died, and all of his work died with him, and everybody's been trying to copy it since then. And in the MCU, at least, that is how Banner became the Hulk. Yeah, he was trying to replicate Banner's. He was trying to replicate the Super Soldier and it didn't work out so well for him.
Not so well, or it did, depending on your point of view.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be fun to see, especially when it comes to Thunderbolts. I am totally stoked about three super soldiers in one movie.
I like the Hulk's origin story from the 70s TV show.
Oh yeah,
he couldn't lift the car to save his dying wife. Yeah, so he was giving himself gamma rays to try to boost his strength, right? To find out why he couldn't do it, because he was like, people get adrenaline and they can lift cars, but he couldn't do it. So he was like, I'm just
Bill Bixby.
I'm just going to pump myself full of radiation.
Poor Bill.
Yeah.
Poor Bill.
Poor Bill Bixby.
What? Why?
Because he couldn't lift the car.
Oh,
off of his wife who died.
So you meant poor Bruce. Bill Bixby was the actor.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I was like, what happened to Bill Bixby?
Wait, those are different things.
Bill was
the character and the actor are different things.
They're different.
What?
They're the same people.
They are. 100%.
This is brand new information.
No. It's the same guy. He just uses two different names. I apologize.
Okay,
I shouldn't have tried to confuse. I did not mean to muddy the waters, boys.
I felt like we were going to have.
No,
the last 50 years have been a lie.
No,
if you're really good,
it was Phoebe with the Easter Bunny.
Yeah,
it's like it's like when you learned that Santa Claus wasn't real. Oh yeah, of course.
What? I need you to build a stinger for this because in every you guys hear that?
Don't worry, it won't hit the garage.
Yeah.
In every single episode, one or both of you eventually brings up a Friends reference.
What?
So
Never.
I would like you to build a stinger for it.
Okay.
So whenever that happens,
I've got one in mind already.
Like it just did. Yeah. Is it? Hey, please tell me it's going to be.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Anyway,
I do like the brand new information one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway.
No, it's going to be good stuff. I really think that. So the next time we'll see Sam will definitely be Secret Wars. He may come back in Doomsday. I actually had to read up on this. Because I was trying to understand how they were pulling their source material into this, and I actually did read some things that make the Robert Downey Jr. thing make just a little bit of sense. I'm not going to get into it because we really.
You're not?
No, we need to see things first.
Okay.
I think the speculatory path that I would go down is just too far.
Okay.
So I'm open-minded to Doomsday, and that's the next time we'll see Sam.
Well, so they in Captain America: Brave New World, they definitely set up that they're going to rebuild the Avengers. We know that's coming, and we know we need them because there's going to be Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret War. The next movie to come out is going to be Thunderbolts. And I don't know. I just get the feeling that as much as any MCU can be a movie can be a standalone movie, that might be it. I don't know how they would set up anything else from there, or maybe they will with Sentinel. I don't know. And then, do we know what's supposed to be next? Is it one of those untitled projects, or no? I guess it's going to be Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah. Fantastic Four.
So then we're going to travel to a different universe,
Which is going to continue to set up Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Because if you have my opinion on this, that's how we bring the 60s one in.
Oh, yeah.
That's how we bring the 60s team into the MCU 616. It's going to happen from Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But one thing, I got to say one last thing about Brave New World that's been on my mind. In the comics, there is only one series ever made that used Brave New World, and it's a little bit disappointing that we're not going to see it because it's a storyline called Secret Empire. This is the one, if you guys haven't heard about it, is the one that includes that Cap was a Hydra agent all along.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
now, that's just the surface story.
Yeah.
He wasn't, spoiler alert, but,
right.
Well,
there was a great throwback to that in Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. No, it was Endgame. Where he's in the elevator with all the guys, and it looks like there's going to be another big old fight.
Oh, my gosh, that was a wonderful
Trust
nod.
me.
His greatness.
Hail Hydra.
Yeah.
And then his
they're all just like...
His smirk on his way out of the elevator, like, you dumb mother mumble.
Mother mumble bummer.
Oh, my gosh, good stuff.
Right.
I would have liked to have seen it.
Are we talking about the final
Let's
third?
get into the final third.
Final third.
So, flavor-wise for me, it's way chocolate. It's like a spicy chocolate now. However, construction-wise for me, I'm just actually not really happy with the cigar. My ends keep flaring. I keep having to relight. The burn is uneven.
The ash is real chalky.
Yeah, and look how
it falls down.
Look how mushy this is too.
Oh, I'm super mushy too.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm mushy, but I'm not having to relight, and I think it has something to do with the frequency of my puff.
Yeah. I flavor wise, I'm enjoying the hell.
I guess
out of this.
Hawk's enjoying it because he's like down to the nub. He's got like an inch of cigar left.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he's talking a lot less.
That's true. That's true. But so overall, the flavor of the cigar, yes. I'll smoke another one to see if I get the same thing with the construction. But I'm just not really like, it was so mushy. I had trouble getting my label off. I finally had to squeeze it and just slide the label off.
You stayed away from reviews in this, right?
Yes, I did.
So I would so go back and read some and see if
that's a problem.
if it tracks.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's
because I know it's true. Having rolled cigars, doing a box press is very tricky because it requires a different amount of filler, and you basically have to trial and error figure out how much that's going to be.
Yeah.
There was one point when you were talking about your cigar. It was in the second third where I looked at the end of your cigar and it almost looked like you were tunneling a little bit.
I was actually. Okay. I did have a small tunnel going, but the end keeps flaring out too. It's really weird. So. But I mean, flavor-wise, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Just construction-wise, I mean, as far as the experience, not so much.
Yeah.
I would be interested to see this exact blend in a traditional Toro.
So you're not spongy at all?
No, I'm a little spongy here.
Okay.
For sure.
So me too. I was thinking the exact same thing. Maybe this isn't the best Vitola for this blend.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, maybe that's what I do is I'll try another one of these Churchills and see if I have the same result. But I do want to try it in a different Vitola as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times, for those of you who are getting into cigars, it makes a difference. You may find a cigar that you enjoy the flavor, but you have construction issues. You're canoeing on one end, or you have to relight a lot, or in this case, and we're all three experiencing this, it's a little mushy. I should not be able to press my fingers that far into a cigar, even this far into it.
Yeah.
So I'm being very careful. That's the other thing about being a smoker is that you have to be aware of what's happening with your cigar.
The mouth of my V cut's gotten like really wide.
And the ash too. So I mean, this is the cigar. I mean, I know I get ash myself all the time, but this has been the worst cigar as far as that. It just keeps flaking off.
It does flake.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flaky ash. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll give this a solid. I would love to try this in another Vitola.
Yeah, me too. Because I am enjoying the blend. Like I said, flavor-wise, it's been great.
Well, okay. I feel like since we're toward the end of our cigars, this is a good time to bring up a segment of the show that we like to call...
It's the greatest joke in the world.
Okay, my friends. All right. As you know, for the last few episodes, we have been doing a bit here called The Greatest Joke in the World, where we tell dad jokes. And the whole idea is to try to get each other to break. Now, this week's going to be a little different. This week, instead of telling each other one joke, we're going to tell each other 3 jokes.
Oof.
Now, that's not all that's different this week, you guys, because this
Bring out
week,
the punishment.
if you crack, you must take a shot, a full shot, not a half shot, full shot of this Rocktown bourbon.
And for those of you that have a good memory, I don't know if you would or not, because I don't think we were filming at that time, but the volume of this particular bottle has not changed since the episode.
Not a damn bit. Not a damn bit. Nope. That is exactly where we left it.
Well, don't pour
which
the
means
shots yet.
we had, huh?
So don't pour a shot
don't-
yet.
I'm not
Or the
pouring
punishment
a shot.
just
I'm getting
yet.
it out.
Yeah.
So here's how this works. We're gonna go 3 rounds of dad jokes. We've all been drinking a little bit, so we're all a little bit loose, maybe inclined to laugh a little bit. And we're gonna do some dad jokes for 3 rounds. Anyone who cracks, and I guess it'll be 2 against 1 to decide who cracks, or maybe 3 against 1, because we're gonna need Hawks. Now, by the way,
Hawk's
you
going
can't
to just
see
take a
this-
shot every single
You
time.
can't see this on camera. Hawk's got his own shot glass because if our producer cracks, he's gonna take a shot.
Yes.
Oh no, dude!
Oh, yeah.
That's happening.
If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. So if you want to be a part of this, you're going to be a part of it all the way. You don't get to half-ass it. You're going to whole ass it on this show.
Yeah.
You're in a whole ass.
You're going to whole ass it on this show. All right. So let's get our jokes ready, boys.
All right.
And I think let's just start over here with Captain America.
Yep. Might as well.
All right.
Let's go, boys.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I have this joke that I like to tell young people about Social Security, but they're not going to get it.
Shit. Damn it. I was not.
Oh, look! Oh, my gosh.
What the hell? Does anyone have some pliers?
I do have some players.
You might need to get
Here, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Okay, you do it. I was
That's
completely
awesome.
ready to take my punishment. That snuck up on me. I was not.
Cork broke.
It cork broke.
It's so bad it rotted the cork.
That's
Yeah,
and
it
I'm
rotted
about
the
to
plastic cork.
and I'm about to put it in my belly. Here,
Rotted
damn
the
it!
plastic cork.
They're not gonna get it. Son of a bitch.
Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Oh, the
Never
whole thing.
gonna- well, a shot is a shot, bro.
Oh,
I love you all.
Beep.
sorry. Oh,
Ow! That hurt my feelings.
no.
There we go.
Okay, go ahead.
My turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um,
I can't talk.
well, I used to play guitar by ear, but I found it's better if I actually use my hands.
That was telegraphed. That was 100% telegraphed. Dang it. It was good. It was a good effort.
Did you laugh?
It was a good effort.
Ugh.
No, he did not have. I actually, I'm taking one of my jokes from the news, the actual news, because the guy who invented throat lozenges, or the concept of throat lozenges, died last week, and there was no coffin at the funeral. Shit. Moving on.
I'm gonna insert cricket sounds in there.
Yeah, please do.
Micah's trying not to laugh. Look at him.
Almost busted on that one.
Okay.
Oh no! All right,
clear my
second
throat.
round. Second round, Micah.
We watched you drink that shot, and it's like we're not laughing about it right now.
Lesson learned. Okay, actually,
enough.
that was pretty good.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
All right. What is red and bad for your teeth?
What is red and bad for your teeth, Micah?
A brick.
Crickets. Crickets.
No, I think we were just so intent on not laughing. Nobody wants to drink that. Nobody wants to drink. Before we could crack and it wasn't a big deal. Oh, we forgot the Rocktown, whatever. But now it's actually here.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
And by the way, I can attest that it's real.
Yeah.
Well, because that I kind of laughed at my
But-
own joke. Do I have to take a half shot or?
Did you half laugh at your own joke?
Well, I mean, afterwards. I was,
Yeah.
All right.
Half a shot. Half a shot. And while you're doing that, Brent, you want to load up your second joke?
I got it.
Oh,
All right.
Heavy pour.
Oh, shit. I mean, darn. But shit. I know, right? It's so bad. All right.
All right.
Hit me.
That wasn't terribly terrible. Maybe as a shot.
You
Yeah.
are not driving home.
Maybe
I'm
just
just
over
saying
that.
that.
Yeah.
Just saying that out loud. If you literally said what you just said, you are not driving home.
All right,
Go
all right.
ahead, Brent. Hit us.
The other day I saw an eraser that had pencils.
Oh, he's already messed,
I messed
it up. Here we go.
The other
that's
day,
sort of-
Hang on. Take two.
the other day I saw a pencil that had erasers on both ends. It's pretty pointless.
Easy, buddy. Easy. You can hold on.
I'm good.
You're doing good.
There was actually a little bit of a guffaw there.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit, Micah.
Follow up.
Damn. Yeah.
Follow
All
up.
right, here we go. What's the point?
He's going to do a half. Oh.
He actually added to the dad joke. So that reminded me of the one I did where I talked about the holy water and the laxatives. I'm starting a religious movement, and that was kind of funny until I went, "Holy crap!" And then they both laughed. And there was see like that.
Yeah.
I will tell you that this is kind of weird, but a friend of mine got kidnapped by a group of mimes, and they did unspeakable things to him.
I like that one a lot.
You went.
Yep.
Producer laughed.
And now I have to take that one off my list.
Producer laughed. No, you got that.
I have that
Oh
one.
yes.
I have that one on my list.
Was that your third one?
No,
Okay,
it's
okay.
not. Well, I mean, the list is long.
Oh my God. Okay, Hockenberry just went way over the top.
Wait, are you abusing the Rocktown?
Whoa, damn. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah.
It is
if you
It may be coming back up.
if you throw up in your mouth a little bit, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, you just have to take another shot.
Point that way because you're right by the camera. Yeah. Don't throw up on the camera.
All
All right. This is our third round. So far, only Brent has not had to take a shot.
Yep.
And I think that's just because he's decided he ain't going to laugh because he's too afraid.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be a
He's too
part of
much
that.
of a coward
Right.
to
I'm not
try
drinking
that.
Yep.
So, Micah, hit us
right.
with your third joke.
All right, let me see what I can do here. Okay, so once I put a car in reverse, and I thought to myself, God, this really takes me back.
Sure.
No? All right.
It was a good effort, buddy.
These are dad jokes. I don't even know if we're expecting
good effort.
actual laughs.
Good effort. Well,
Some
we've
of them
been
are funny.
drinking.
Some of them are
Go
funny.
ahead, buddy.
My turn.
Yeah.
The other day I was at the mall and I saw the Apple Store getting robbed. I guess that makes me an eyewitness. Chirp, chirp.
Not even.
That's the one I thought was going to get you.
Well, it was a good try. All right. All right. 3 conspiracy theorists walk into a bar. You can't tell me that's coincidence. He laughed.
I get it.
Because of what you did.
I'm
That's not
sorry.
a joke.
Sorry. Still
No.
laughed. Still
Shoot
laughed,
it.
bro. Still laughed. Come on.
That's ridiculous.
Come on. That's not ridiculous.
I'm protesting. I'm
I
drinking
think
under
even
protest.
the producer is the arbiter of all things. You need to. Oh, hang on. I'll get here. Let me bring that forward for you. Yeah. You laughed. Oh, good man.
We are heavy-handed.
Took a look. Yeah. Dominus hominis patri, whatever the hell.
Spiritus
and go ahead.
Sancti.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever he said. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, get on that singer. Get ready.
It still tastes like the melted ice cream cone.
And that.
Wait till you see not you guys. Wait till you see the punishment that we have after the Rocktown's done.
It actually gets worse.
It actually gets worse.
does get worse.
Gets
But that
so
does it-
much worse.
That does it for this episode of.
It's the greatest joke in the world.
I think we all need to lighten up and not be so competitive.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
Oh, I just lightened up before we started that joke.
Dad jokes are over.
Oh.
anywho.
Yes, sir.
I'm out and I'm not relighting that.
Oh man,
Oh, he said, "To hell with this."
I'm tired of working on it so much.
we did.
It's like a bad
Brit-
relationship.
Get counseling for me and my cigar.
Brent's idea.
No, it's very simple with cigars. I'm done with you.
Yeah, I'm done with you. Brent's idea of a good cigar is lack of effort. Just so we're clear. That's going to do it for this week's edition of what's our podcast called again? Nerdherfers.
don't
That's
remember.
right.
That's right.
I don't remember. That was a good answer.
Got some brain
It
rot.
was
from
the Rocktown.
The gut rot gave me some brain rot.
Just a reminder, please go out to nerdherfers.com and subscribe to us. If you watch us on YouTube, go to youtube.com/@nerdherfers and hit the subscribe button. We would love. It's like what?
He's trying to put his hoodie on with his headphones. It's not
Oh,
gonna
hang on.
There it is.
There
his
you
hoodie
go.
on. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Micah Rogers, everybody, for the defense. Thank you guys for tuning in. I am Larry Brantley. That is Micah Rogers.
Assemble!
Yeah. And that's Brent Williams.
Keep your shirt on.
Thank you to our producer, Chris Hockenberry, behind the mic. We will see you guys next week. Until then, I don't know, assemble, I guess. Whatever. See you next time. Bye-bye. This has been a production of Nerdherfers. Copyright 2025, all rights reserved. No portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer.